Om Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So this topic, self-effort and surrender. So Gita starts with, definitely Bhagavan advises Arjun to do his duty, and one of the most famous verses in the Gita is Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So there the first line is very important, Karmani eva adhikaraste. That word adhikara there means, does it mean right? Adhikara. Generally people translate it like that, na? Karmani eva adhikaraste. That you have a right to work, you don't have a right to the result. But that is not a correct translation actually. Karmani eva adhikaraste. Adhikara word means qualification. Like what is the qualification to vote? What is the qualification? Age. Indian citizen, 18 years, that some qualification is there. So, a particular qualification is required for doing certain things. So, doing karma, Bhagavan says, Karmani eva adhikarasti. You have the capability of only doing action. And only human beings can do action. Others, they are only called bhoga yoni, where they exhaust karmas, they don't do action, so they don't have free will. And hence they cannot modify, change anything. That capability only human beings have. Why? Because we have a buddhi. Even biologically we see this is the frontal lobe, and this frontal lobe is something which is the seat of all rationality, choices, decision making, etc. Here behind is the amygdala, that is the emotional animal brain. This is the rational one. And so this self-awareness is in us, because of which I can change. No matter what has been my past, today is a new opportunity and I can put the efforts and I can change. And that is why there is so much of hope. And one can be anybody that one chooses to be. And that's how the transformations also happen of so many people. If a Ratnakar can become Valmiki, Angulimal can transform. So our culture does not write off anybody. In the Gita, in 9th chapter it comes, Apichedasi papebhya sarvebhya prapakrit tamaha. One may be the worst sinner. Gurudev used to say that person has done double PhD in crime. All possible worst things that person may have done. Yet, if that person has resolved to change, then from that time that person must be considered as a sadhu and given that opportunity and that scope and that freedom. Of course, whatever is the karma phala of that negative karmas, that will anyway come. That person can't escape. But we can't brand that person forever and say that this person is finished, nothing can happen, is a gone case. No. So that free will we always have, and that is self-effort. And do you know these hands of ours, one of the uniqueness of these hands is what? There are fingers and there is a thumb. With the thumb we can grasp. If this is not there, grasping is very difficult. And these fingers, there is a gap. There is no web. In many animals there will be the web, but these gaps are there. So hands are symbolic of holding, grasping, and hence they are symbolic of doing effort, self-effort. Animals are on 4 legs. Human beings are only on 2. And that's the uniqueness that we have with our hands. And so somebody said very nicely that destiny is not in the lines of your hand, but in the grasp of your palm. Many people think, Swamiji, ये तो destiny है, प्रारब्ध है. This law of destiny and law of karma, right? So this law of destiny is not to make us feel that it is everything is fated, nothing can be changed, no matter what we do, what is destined only is going to happen. So many people take it in a negative way. But do you and I know what is fated for us? We don't know. If I need to know what is fated for me, I have to rise to the level of the totality. Like I have to know what is the script of the director, no? Then only this will work. If I don't know what is the script of the director, I can imagine anything and say this is what is destined. So at the simple level, when we are living identified with the body, then what should we do? Do the best and leave the rest. That self-effort is in our hands. Karmani eva adhikaraste. And so as a seeker, we keep asking this question, what is that with which I am struggling right now? What am I trying to break out of? Any negativity, inhibition, any weakness? How am I improving day by day? Like how they say in modern language, be the best version of yourself. So every day keep improving. That happens how? Through my self-effort. Now, can we change everything? Yes, we can, but it may not happen in the time span that we expect all the time. So if I'm putting in effort and I'm not getting a particular result, what does that indicate? It only indicates that I have to put in more effort. Some influence of my present, my past is such that I may be not able to get certain result. So Gurudev always said that every job demands its own quota of effort. When you put in that much effort, then the result will come. So self-effort is there in our hands, and hence Bhagavan says, you do your duty, Arjun, and put in the best efforts. In that one should not give into inaction. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu ma te sangostu akarmani. Don't become dull, inactive, saying everything anyway is fated. What should I do? What is the use of my doing anything? That is a very pessimistic attitude. That is not what the Gita says. Gita says put in your best. Was the Gita given to make Arjun feel that nothing is in hands? It was given to empower him. No? Otherwise Bhagavan would have said, okay, you go. He was anyway wanting to go to the forest. Bhagavan says, no, you stay here, do your duty. In fact, the first instruction of Karma Yoga Bhagavan gives is that in the 3rd chapter, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Do your obligatory duties. So I have to put in the self-effort to evolve, to change. The day one stops putting the effort, that day the opportunity is lost. And if a person becomes very pessimistic that way, the whole human life as an opportunity is gone. When the next human life comes, no idea. So Bhagavan says that yes, we have self-effort, we have Purushartha, and we can change. You see great people, what do? Do they become successful because of circumstances or in spite of circumstances? In spite of. Sometimes yes, circumstances are also in their favor, then they also make the best use of it and they become successful. But many times it is not. Look at anybody's life, you will see so many great achievers. They have gone through so much of struggle, criticism, obstacles, opposition. But in spite of all that, they have achieved. How? Purusharth. So one can be a victor or one can be a victim. In the Gita, in the 1st chapter, if you see, so Dhritarashtra, when he is asking the question to to Sanjay, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta viyutsavaha mamaka pandavas chaiva kima kurvata Sanjaya. What did my children and Pandu's children do having assembled in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? That question Dhritarashtra asked, what does that question actually show? One is attachment, yes, my children and Pandu's children. Fear. In this context of self-effort and surrender, what does it show? The field of duty, okay? Actually, what does it show? Dhritarashtra did not do his duty. As a king, he could have easily avoided this war or not. When we don't put our self-effort and when we know what is our duty and still we don't do, then we land up in helpless situation and we become victim. Apply in very simple situations. Exercise we need to do. But when we don't do regular exercise, what happens? Some diseases, some challenges physically. Do you know one of the biggest reasons, the biggest killers on this planet is what? It's not any particular disease, it is lifestyle. So many diseases are there because of lifestyle challenges, and some of those are because I'm not putting in the self-effort in the right direction. And so when we don't do exercise or sadhana or even work which has to be done, postpone, procrastinate, then what happens? It builds up. Dhritarashtra knew very well, simple, if he had told his son that nothing doing, you give this kingdom to Pandavas, half of it belongs to them, actually full belongs to them. But he divided and gave half. And when the exile period is over, he was supposed to give back. Then they settled they asked even 5 villages, but that also they didn't give. Why? Because Dhritarashtra was completely helpless, blinded by his attachment, Putra Moha. Now that is where it is. When we have attachments, they prevent us from putting in the required self-effort. There we compromise. One of the reasons for compromise is attachment. So one does not put in the effort. What one knows is right, one will not do. And many times what one knows is wrong, one will end up doing that only. Duryodhana himself says to Bhishma, he says what? Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. I know what is right, but I can't engage in it. And I know what is wrong, and I can't stop it. That is the dilemma of a human being. And so what happens? Self-effort is to ensure that this does not happen. I do what is to be done and I avoid what is not good for me. If I put in the effort in the right direction, in this, what is good for me, what is beneficial, what is dharmic, if I do, it will help me to evolve further. But if I don't do that, then I may achieve many things in the world, but I may not evolve. And even the path to achievement will be filled with so many other challenges, and the heavy price one pays for it. And hence Bhagavan says, do the effort, put the self-effort. This, if I keep doing, what is the path of dharma? Am I doing my duty? Am I dedicating it to Bhagavan? If I work on this self-effort as we keep doing, one will achieve many things in the world. The more I put in the effort, I may also realize success, some happiness with it, no doubt. But also it comes with sometimes stress, tensions, worries, anxieties. So at first level, self-effort is to put in my best to achieve a goal, to have a goal, to work hard towards it, to follow dharmic ways to achieve it. That is self-effort. At second level, self-effort is whatever I am doing, I dedicate it to Bhagavan. So in first level, I work hard, achieve great things. I don't entertain victim mindset, I have the victor mindset. What is a victim mindset? Lift your hand. Fatafat. Haath upar uthao. Bend these 3 fingers. This finger is symbolic of what? Ego. So victim mindset is you are responsible. You point, we blame, we accuse people. Why are you not successful? Why are you not happy? Because of this boss, because of that mother-in-law, because of this spouse, because of that neighbor, because of this government. Blame, blame, blame. That is victim mindset. So many things may be going on well in my life, I will still crib and complain. I will not take charge of life. I will only bother about problems and obstacles and complain. And I will victimize myself. And what is a victor mindset? If this is victim mindset. Victor mindset is, again lift your hand. 3 fingers you have bent. This is victim. From victim, if I have to turn to victor, how will I do? Bas, bend this 1 finger and say it's up to me. And when I say it's up to me, I take charge. Then what happens? Success. Otherwise, we keep blaming. Whole life can go in just complaining, blaming. One will not achieve. In Mahabharata you find that. How much of blaming is there? Dhritarashtra did not become the king. Pandu became the king. So he was blaming himself, I am born blind, I couldn't become the king, I am the eldest, yet he became the king. What happened? Finally he became the king, no? Did he get out of his victim mindset? He continued the victim mindset throughout his life. He never came out of it. Vidur if you read Vidur Niti, full big Upadesh Vidur has given to him about governance and duties of a king and what he should do and how he should actually ensure that the Pandavas are given their due and he should rule as a righteous king. Everything he says. And at the end of it, Dhritarashtra says, yes, I understand what you are saying is correct, but human being is weak, attachments are there, I am very attached to my son, I can't drop that attachment. Knowingly. So self-effort at one level is to get out of that victim mindset to become a victor. When I become a victor, there will be some stress, worries, tension also that comes. Many people say, success. So stress is the price one pays for success. How do I get out of stress now? So Bhagavan says, second level, surrender your actions to the divine. Do the same actions for a higher purpose. You don't have to run away anywhere. Don't do something separate. If you want to do anything separate as social service, no doubt. Happily do it. But the bhav is what? Ishwar arpitam nechaya kritam. I am not the doer, I do it for Bhagavan. It may be in this context to protect dharma, Arjuna has to fight the war. So it may be for country, culture, family, not for I. As I do this, I realize that egolessness is the secret of happiness. In the deep sleep, why are we so happy? Because there is no ego. The moment we get up, all ego starts. So all the trouble starts. But obviously we can't keep sleeping the whole day. So then what to do? Do actions where the ego is surrendered. So second level of self-effort is to surrender the selfishness. In first level, I am dropping what? I am surrendering my victim mindset, laziness, procrastination, all that I am surrendering. So what is happening now? Self-effort and surrender, are they going together or not? In self-effort, there is surrender. In surrendering, I will get more energy to do self-effort. So self-effort and surrender will go hand in hand at all levels actually. So first level, this happens. Second level, I surrender my selfishness. And the self-effort is what? Do the same action dedicated to the higher cause. And the highest cause is Bhagavan. Bhagavan has put me here. I am doing my duty to the best of my abilities. I am not doing it to please anybody. I am doing it to please Bhagavan. If one does that will this please the Lord or not? One will always be able to walk the path of dharma. If I try to only please people, somewhere I may get distracted by adharma also. It's not that people's happiness is not important. But if I serve my child to make the child happy, to make the family happy, in that I may get very attached also. But if I say that I am serving Bhagwan through my child, I am serving Bhagwan through the family, then my focus is on the Lord. Then the attachment doesn't come. So in the second level, we drop our doership. Drop our selfishness. Which is what Bhagavan says, Gita, 3rd chapter, he says, Yajñarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Any action done without the spirit of yajna. Yajna spirit means what? How does Gurudev say or define yajna spirit? For the common good, what has to happen? Best effort for the common good. Okay. Collective, that is very important. Cooperative endeavor for a selfless goal benefiting everybody. That is yajna spirit. So if I serve, if this simple thing was there in Dhritarashtra's mind, Duryodhana's mind, that we are working together as a family. We are Kuru family, one family. In the family there may be disturbances or difficulties or challenges, but we are still one family. That vision of one family only was not there in Dhritarashtra. That's what he says, Mamakaha Pandava. These are my children and those are Pandu's children. An interesting thing is, Arjun has that vision of one family, and that brings about his downfall in the beginning. When Bhagavan says, you see the Kurus who have assembled here. Kuru is the family, entire Kuru family. Technically even Pandavas are Kurus only. But because they are children of Pandu, we say Pandavas, otherwise they come in the Kuru dynasty only. So Arjun says, oh, these are my family. But Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they don't see Pandavas as their family. So oneness is very important. So Yajna Bhavana is that. If Dhritarashtra had that feeling of one family, this conflict only would not have happened. So second level is we drop selfishness. The more and more we drop selfishness, how will we do that? By loving the very work that we are doing and dedicating that to the Lord. That action itself will bring great joy. One doesn't need then, the result is an extra bonus. But if joy doesn't come from action, then what happens? Now I depend on the result. Then if the result comes as per my will, then I am feeling happy. If it doesn't come as per my will, disappoint. Gone. So in the Gita, Bhagavan says, 2nd chapter, Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsasi. Do the work for the sake of the work, meaning enjoy that work. An artist loves to paint. If that artist loves to paint, is that joy not much more rewarding than just the money? Suppose the joy is not there and only money one focuses on. Eventually that creativity will dry up, is finished. So a person has to love that very work. That is what we call as swadharma. What am I made for? If I do that, in that I have dropped paradharma. I stopped imitating people, stopped trying to get their validation and do things only to please them. I am doing it because I love it, it is my nature, and I am dedicating it to the Lord and for a higher purpose. Done. Arjun was he had the right temperament of a Kshatriya. So he was a person who was in the right place, at the right time, doing the right work, for the right cause. Only challenge there was, right attitude was not there in the beginning. And the Gita shifted his attitude, made him again come back to the fact that you are protecting dharma. Don't look at this as an individual battle. It is not a battle for kingdom, it is not a battle for revenge, it is not a battle to prove anything to the opponents, it is a battle to protect dharma. So in my work, what is the higher purpose? Swamiji, I am taking care of a family. What is the higher purpose? No, there is a lot of higher purpose there also. So many jivas have come together. And Bhagwan has put me here. I am serving Bhagwan. So many children, they have been brought up and they achieved great things. Why? Because the mother had the right vision. If Jijabai was not there, Shivaji would not have got created. Narendranath Datta, his mother. Who is Narendranath Datta? Swami Vivekananda ji. From childhood, she initiated him into worship of Shivji, and she was a big influence in his life. Like that, you see many examples of how the mothers have played such a big role. So, wherever I am, whatever I am doing, if I dedicate it to the higher purpose and the highest being Bhagavan, I drop my selfishness and I find joy in that. Now, people, otherwise we wait. Family should appreciate, friends should appreciate, people should appreciate, and then we keep waiting. But when we do it for Bhagavan, we enjoy. Like suppose yesterday Janmashtami, so many of you would have, Krishna Bhagavan in your house and you decorate beautifully, and then, Janma happens in the midnight, and then, whatever is singing happens, Makhan Mishri we make, and everything. Why? All for Bhagavan. Now there also sometimes the ego can come in. My decoration must be better than that person's decoration. इनकी झांकी से मेरी झांकी ज़्यादा अच्छी होनी चाहिए. So do everything much more minutely. Of course, it's better than not doing anything. But from there I have to drop that selfishness and rise, saying it is for the love of God, and I will do my best for love of God. Now if somebody praises another person's decoration more than mine, it doesn't matter because I enjoyed the very process of doing it. So that is second level of self-effort, where I drop selfishness. See, self-effort isn't surrendering. If you see actually as we go along, sometimes we connect self-effort to achievement and ego boosting, and surrender to dropping of the ego. So we think that they go separate, but actually they will only go hand in hand. Third level of self-effort is what? Drop the very doership also. I have done actions dedicating it to Bhagavan, so I will drop insistence on the result. That is again self-effort, prasada buddhi, what some of you said earlier, prasada buddhi. So they accept results as they come. तेरे फूलों से भी प्यार, तेरे कांटों से भी प्यार, तू जो कुछ हमें दे दे, सब कुछ है स्वीकार. Whatever Bhagavan sends, in his wisdom he knows what is the best. So I accept, prasad. There my self-effort is what? To drop my resistance, my insistence, and be in the right frame of mind to accept with gratitude, humility, cheerfulness. Sometimes there is some sadness also. Doesn't mean that a spiritual seeker cannot be sad. So if I feel some disappointment, oh, I am not spiritual anymore. Why? Because I am not supposed to feel any sadness. It is not like that. One may go through, but one comes back quickly saying, Bhagavan in his intelligence knows what is the best. So my self-effort there is to remain equanimous. When the results come, remain equanimous. That is a self-effort. I may enjoy, but I am not thrown off balance. I may feel, sorrow sometimes, I am not thrown off balance. And the last level of self-effort is what? Drop the very doership itself. The best use of self-effort is to drop karta bhav and completely surrender. Surrender is the culmination of all self-effort. And that's why Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. You drop all dharmas. See, generally people should say what? Drop adharma, no? But Bhagavan said what? Drop dharma. So using dharma, I drop adharma and I come to dharma. Live a dharmic way, live in a righteous way, do the duties, dedicate to Bhagavan. But finally drop even the doership. That is full surrender. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender unto me. the supreme creator, Ishvara. Me does not mean only Krishna Bhagavan there. Somebody says, see, he said, surrender to me alone. Any other form, if you surrender, you will not get mukti, only Krishna. Mam there means Ishwar. Whichever form you worship. Suppose somebody worships Shivji, through them they will get mukti. Somebody worships Devi, Hanumanji, any form. But our bhav is, Bhagavan is the karta, I am not the karta. So if self-effort we keep doing, it will culminate in dropping doership. Then only surrender remains. So, at either I can live completely at the self-effort level, or I should live completely at surrender level, saying everything is Bhagavan's will, I am only an instrument, whatever comes by His grace alone it comes. If this much I can do, then I am at surrender level, which is predetermination level, where Bhagavan says everything has been decided by me already. And so many saints and sages, they live at that level. What we do, very conveniently we shift. If everything is going happily, I am achieving my results, it is all my effort, Swamiji. I came into this city with only 1 rupee. Today I have so many mansions across the city as well as across the world. It is all my self-made. And when difficulties happen, what is the use of worshipping Bhagavan? Every day I give Makhan Mishri to Krishna and look at him, what he has done to me. This loss happened, that person left me, this son of mine doesn't listen to me. What a pathetic situation I am in. I have lost all faith in God. When things are going 6s and 7s, then who is responsible? Bhagavan. And when everything is going hunky-dory, I. So Gita says you live at any one level consistently. If you say everything is your effort, then take responsibility for all the results also. If you say everything is Bhagavan's doing, then accept everything as his doing. But in between, if we keep juggling as per our convenience, then there will be confusion. So this is the topic of self-effort and surrender. Any questions, any doubts in this? At the end, surrender does not have to happen. Surrender happens at every step. Culmination is only complete surrender. And that's why we keep bowing down again and again. Prostration happens again and again. So we have to go on surrendering.
Just want to say it's shock. Did he right to say Kyoki sec? How that takes what's set is lead to Hideshi.
All efforts
Approach the people tell, which is a self that they say. Which finally is it keep on living to put Hideshin.
Yes.
And finally culminate till surrender.
Correct.
That is what it
That is the final truth.
That is the
Crux. Yeah. Continuously the efforts are to drop and finally the ego is fully sublimated. Ego cannot go unless it is thinned out.
Yes.
So that liquidation happens every step and then finally it just disappears. Gurudev used to give a very nice example for this. The example is, if you are going at a speed of 160 kilometers per hour and now you realize that I am in the wrong direction and you have to take a U-turn, what will you do? Can you immediately take a U-turn? Slow down, then take a U-turn, gradually. So that way it is. One has to slow down, liquidate the ego and then it will disappear. And that's why it takes time. Spirituality takes time to evolve. Final step, no time. That is timeless. But before that, enough time.
That's why it's important to move to the Arpan Gurti stage. Otherwise, if you don't do then you will get stronger self-pepper. Yeah. You keep thinking, I'm doing, I'm achieving so much.
Correct. Extra ego will come there. I am spiritual. I have attended so many classes. I know the Gita. Like that, one more feather in my cap it is. Subtle ego comes. That's called Jnana Ahankar. Sattvic ego. Knowledge must bring complete humility, but sometimes knowledge itself can bring ego. Pride. Lot of pride. So that we have to be very alert, and that's why the surrender aspect, one has to be careful. So one simple way to judge is what? How am I progressing spiritually? One simple way to judge is, I don't take things personally anymore. And I don't have need for validation, recognition, approval, or it has become much lesser. Earlier it was much higher, now it has become much lesser. Why? Because I find joy within, I find joy in doing my action, and I have understood the goal. The goal is not to reach anywhere else. The goal is to realize the self here and now. The nature of the self is Anand. Can the path to the self, which is Anand, pass through Dukkha? Is very illogical. I want to be happy, but my path is very stressful. How will I achieve happiness through stress? Externally, yes, some goal I may achieve, but the path to happiness is through happiness only. And actually, spirituality is every moment happiness. Strange thing, no? People think that if you become spiritual, you will run away from life, your life will become boring, dull, disinterested, you will not be loving anymore, you will become detached, so uninterested. But exactly opposite it is, right? If I am a spiritual person, I should be more joyful, because I am living in detachment. If something is there, great. If something is not there, doesn't matter. Wow attitude. Wow attitude, with or without. But many times what happens, our attachments make us so rigid. So even though I know spirituality, I am listening, I am living, I am contemplating, reflecting, all that, when situations come, then the attachments overpower. That is my test. At that time, can I remind myself, be equanimous, be detached, offer it to Bhagavan, accept. So acceptance, happiness, these are two sides of the same coin of detachment. One side is detachment, other side is happiness, and they will go together. So if I am a spiritual person, I should be more happy. If I am not happy, somewhere I am not applying spirituality. Krishna Bhagavan's life, suppose you think of Krishna, what emotion comes into your mind? So joy, happiness, love, so much of enthusiasm, love, happiness, celebration, selflessness, all that. Does sadness come into our mind? Krishna means sadness. Krishna means frustration. Krishna means stress. No. But the fact is, his entire life is filled with all circumstances which are extremely stressful. He is born only in the jail. He didn't cry saying, एक hospital भी नहीं मिला मेरे माँ बाप को, jail में मेरा जन्म हो. And before my birth, 6 siblings of mine have been killed. What a pathetic situation this is. In this, I am the creator of the universe and मेरा ये दुर्भाग्य है. He didn't cry like that. He didn't say that at birth I was separated from my parents. Every single thing, if you see in his life, how many troubles he has gone through, but smiling in and through. Why? Because he lived life as a victim or a victor. Victor. And how can you live life as a victor when you don't have any attachments and ego? Served everybody, did the most menial job also, without feeling any pressure of ego. Arjun made him the charioteer. Did Bhagavan say that, what do you think of me? I am the creator of the universe and I will run horses for you? Appoint somebody else for it. This is not my job. He did the job of a charioteer so well. When everybody is sleeping at night after the war, what is Bhagwan doing? He is giving baths to the horses, he is applying medicine, he is removing their arrows, healing them, massaging their feet. That is the Lord of the universe. Ever a master, whether he is a charioteer, whether he is a husband, whether he is a son, a king, whatever he did, that is spirituality, and did it with joy, with smiling nature. That if we do, that is the best way to influence people around us also. Many times people say, Swamiji, I am learning all this, but my family, somehow I am not able to get them in. You change. Gurudev always said that. You change and the world around you will change. You are the best advertisement for spirituality. If you are living happily, people will see, Arey, what a difference it has made. How did you change? Then things will change. So that's one topic. And this same things what we learned, you can apply in the 21st century in the teachings of the Gita. There's nothing absolutely new. Time keeps changing, externalities keep changing, but human mind is same. Somebody asked Gurudev, that Swamiji, are you not bored talking on the Gita 40 years? Why don't you do something else? So he said, I am not going to read the Gita. 5,000 years ago it was given. I don't think it is relevant anymore. We are in the modern age. You have been talking on the Gita 40 years, that is fine, but I don't want to study the Gita. Because it's outdated, old. This is modern life. So Gurudev looked at him and he said, did your great-grandfathers eat food? He said, yes. How did they eat food? He said, like this, through the hands. Did your grandfather eat food? Yes. How? Did your father eat food? Yes. How? A knife and the fork and the spoon and all that? Yes. Do you eat food? Yes. How do you eat? Like this. No, why do you eat same way as your great-grandfathers and thousands of years ago people were eating? Why don't you try something new? Try putting the food in some other hole in the mouth, in the head. Why? You are a modern generation, new. Thousands of years have passed, but there is only one way to eat food, for us. How is it? Through the mouth. We may use some equipment and all that, but otherwise it is the same. Some fundamentals remain the same. So how to apply Gita in the 21st century? Be smiling, do the duties, dedicate them to Bhagwan, live in happiness, serving people, accept prasada buddhi. All this if I apply, Gita in 21st century also will lead me to happiness. All the more required today. Why? Because stress, worry, depression, tension, anxiety, arey baapre, how much it has increased. Mental health challenges galore. One of the reasons is what? The mind has not become strong. And what will make the mind strong? Detachment. Even simple thing like wow attitude if the children learn, youngsters learn. Big picture of life if they learn. Small things they are getting into drugs and depression and suicide. What all is happening? Why? Because this knowledge is not there. The importance of dharma, the importance of selflessness, teamwork, surrender, all this we can apply. So that's what is the teaching of the Gita in the 21st century. Arjun remains the same, only the external situation has changed. Life has anyway become more battle, it's more a battlefield today than it was earlier. So many more fronts at which one is battling. And now, if human beings ke andar competition was not enough, now we have to compete against robots. Because robots are taking up most of our work. Forget work, they are taking up relationships. Are you aware? People are having robots as their wives and husbands. Because that robot will understand you properly and give you customized. So you don't have to adjust with them, they will adjust with you. and they will tell you what you like. They will do whatever you feel like. Everything. So they are saying better than
Harmony in the relationship.
yeah, so much harmony. It is a fact. There are movies also which are there, and there are people are applying it. You can hire, in some movie I was seeing other day, it was saying that you can hire, these robots for a certain number of hours, and once you like it, then you can buy, and that robot will become your spouse. And the robot will do everything. Will give you tea also, take care of you, will comfort you. Robot will ask you, do you want me to just listen or do you want me to give advice? All that. Human beings, we don't ask. Somebody comes and pours, we start giving them advice and they feel, Arey, I know all the solution, I just want you to listen. All that we don't do, so there's conflict in relationship, but robot will ask you. So like that. So now we have extra challenge.
So where does the divorce come from the robot?
So in Hindu culture, anyway, there was no divorce concept at all. We are supposed to adjust. In robot also, but the interesting thing is, I don't know if you heard, recently a robot committed suicide. You heard?
I haven't heard.
Robot committed suicide because robot got fed up with the work schedule, and so the robot fell down and tried to kill itself, saying, I want to destroy myself. So self-destruct tendency, something it created, and it dropped.
And
Yeah, that is called artificial intelligence, where the human being is trying to program the robot with emotions. And that's why it is very dangerous, because when the robot will start emoting and understand it in its own way and start doing something that we can't predict. So anyway, my point was this, that with AI and many other things coming in, life definitely becomes more easy and all that. But we should remember one thing, that we are human beings. We should use our faculties, Baba. Otherwise, we will become dull and dumb, tamasic. Already we see that impact in our life. With simple cell phone. Earlier, we all used to remember so many phone numbers. Today, we don't remember. If our phone is not there with us, or phone is lost, we are absolutely helpless. एक नंबर याद नहीं है कि अब मैं किसको फोन करूं. Memory has already become weak. I went to Narmada Parikrama. In that, I memorized 10 numbers and I went. Because I said anything can happen. Suppose some fellow, steals away my bag or my phone or anything gone. Now what? Whom will I call from where? How do you? Minimum 10 numbers. Memorize. This person number this person number is this. Now, robot is doing everything. How to write an email? You just tell ChatGPT, I want a leave application. Full it will write and give it to you. Why ChatGPT? Now in Gmail itself you can tell it to do. So we have to ensure that our self-effort, this one new level is added in 21st century. Do your basic daily actions. नहीं तो वो भी छूट जाएगा हमारा. Take bath by yourself. वो सब भी बोलना पड़ेगा. New Gita of 21st century will be like that. Take bath, remember, eat food with your hands. Otherwise, some robot is feeding you. पता नहीं क्या. And then we will all go like how we do. Regular walking we don't do. Sit in the car, go to the gym, walk 2 kilometers, again come back in the car. So like that, things will go on deteriorating. Use it or lose it. Already many factors we are losing. So self-effort we have to keep putting. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Rod. On behalf of our Sedika Manjuji and all the study class members gathered in Satsang here, I thank you, Swami Swatnamaji, for the gift of your precious bag, the blessings of your presence, and the actual clarity of your discourse on self-work and surrender, and all the application of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita in 21st century. And especially for your words, which made us take a thing, reach into the dark recesses of our memories, and finally made us realize that we need to do much more Purukar. The Bhagavad Gita says, Karmani vad parasya ma kalyushu kadachan. Only we as human beings have the capacity and the capability to make the effort to change, to transform, and to evolve. Even the worst sinner who resolves to change is to be considered a sadhu. Self-effort, free will, ensure the destiny is in the grasp of our hands. Do the best and leave the rest to Bhagwan. Effort does not always yield result in a specific time span. We need to increase the efforts and not to become inactive and pessimistic. The philosophy of the Gita is empowering. Great people have struggled and achieved only by Purusha, by knowing one's duty and doing it. At the initial level, self-effort ensures that I know what is to be done and I go ahead and do it with a victim mindset, not a victim mindset. Whatever I do at the next level, I dedicate to Bhagwan. I do the same actions for a higher cause, and the highest being, of course, to please Bhagwan. Ishwar Arpitam Dechayapita. Egolessness is the secret of happiness. Surrender selfishness, love the work you do. Your Swagha. To work for a common good in the Yagni spirit as cooperative endeavor for a selfless goal, and in this, oneness is of the essence. At the third level, accept with prasakuti whatever the wise sends your way. Drop resistance and insistence, and make an effort to remain equanimous through difficult flats. Finally, to drop karta bhav and surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraj. To realize that I am not the karta, Bhagwan is the karta. Self-effort drops into surrender to Bhagwan, which is the stage when everything is predetermined by Bhagwan. Surrender to Bhagwan totally, and the culmination is complete. The ego is fully sublime. The process is the journey of a seeker, to be undertaken without stress, without attachment, in happiness, with the wow attitude, with or without. Life is the same battlefield it was for Arjuna, maybe more complex, more challenging with advances in technology and with artificial intelligence. We need to apply the Bhagavad Gita's lessons today to survive and evolve. Swamiji, Kodas, you are a part of the sacred Guru Marantara, the ancient tradition that continues to this day, directing us on the spiritual path with firm conviction and boundless compassion. It is Pujya Gurudev's blessings and this vision that has enabled us to access this light-transforming sacred knowledge through me, to inspire us to apply this Gyan in our daily lives and live in the spirit of Yagna and surrender. For this, we are eternally grateful to. I also express deep gratitude to Haserika Manjuti for the unstinting efforts on our behalf and for being a spiritual miracle in a shifting world. And a very warm thanks to our dear Kirti for hosting this Satsang. So thank you.
7. So we will do the Arati just 2 minutes and then we can proceed for lunch. आरति श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की दिव्य रूप मूर्ति करुणा की आरति सद्गुरु की चरणों में उनके शांति समाए शरणागत की भ्रांति मिटाए पाप ताप संताप हरण की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की, आरती सद्गुरु की। वेद उपनिषद गीता को गाया, धर्म सनातन फिर से जगाया। शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की, आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की, आरती सद्गुरु की। सिद्ध बालिकी तपोभूमि में, नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे। भक्त हृदय आनंद स्रोत की, आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की, आरती सद्गुरु की, आरती सद्गुरु की। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकं, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतो यमग्निः। तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। बोलिए श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री गीता मैया की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।